If you were to die tomorrow in Germany, your partner would have to wait between 3 and 6 months before they can touch a single euro from your estate. That's 3 to 6 months of rent, groceries, clothing for the kids, and everything else that comes with living life in Germany. And all of that while dealing with a ton of German bureaucracy without the help of their partner. Yet, there is an insurance solution that could help alleviate all of those challenges that most expats think is not worth it or just not necessary. And today, I hope that we can change that. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name is Theo. I'm from Feather. Feather is a digital insurance company. We help people who have moved abroad figure out everything insurance, but also on this channel, we break down things beyond insurance, things like bureaucracy and admin and everything else that comes with living in a country that's not so familiar. In today's video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about life insurance and particularly whether or not it makes sense in your situation. All right, without further ado, let's get started. Why would you even want to get life insurance? Life insurance makes sense for two primary reasons, at least in my mind. And on the one hand, it's because the payout tends to happen a lot faster than it would happen with inheritance. So they can really provide a clutch in case, something unfortunate happens to you, to your partner while they're dealing with everything that's, comes with having to deal with the death of someone close to the family. Then something else that you have to keep in mind, a reason why you would want to get life insurance is that you don't have to rely on putting a certain amount of money to the side to build up your inheritance for life insurance to be valuable. You don't have to put 100,000 euros to the side in order for your partner to touch this 100,000 euros. You can just get a policy worth 100K, at which point, you can sort of live life to the fullest, as you might want to do while you're still here on this earth. And you can not put any money to the side, but have this life insurance policy that's worth 100, 200, 800K, whatever it makes sense for you. In which case something unfortunate happens, then you're still providing for your family even after you're gone. But a lot of people will tell you, I'm young, I'm healthy, I don't need life insurance. I'm gonna be here for the long term. And while that's true of 99% of you, there is very few unfortunate people who will not make it to, age 80, 100 years old. And for that reason, I like to think about life insurance in terms of the number of coffees per month I have to sacrifice. And depending on the policy that you choose and how old you are and whether or not you're a smoker, it's anywhere from 2 coffees per month to maybe 8 coffees per month. And in my mind, when I think about whether I prefer 8 coffees or 5 coffees, whatever it may be, versus if I value the security of my family and my close ones more, the answer is really quick to determine. And I know that the coffee cup analogy has been overused in the past, but I think when it comes particularly to the safety and shielding your family from stress and difficulties, you owe them that at the end of the day. And that's why I think life insurance makes complete sense and why we have a policy in the family for the main breadwinner. So let's take a closer look at term life insurance. That's the policy that I would advise 95% of you to get as quickly as possible. If you're part of the people for who life insurance makes sense, I'll get back to that in just a minute. So term life insurance is like a pure protection product. A pure protection product means if you pass away, then your beneficiaries, whoever you name on the contract, will receive the money. It's as simple as it gets. You pay every month, and then if something happens to you, your partner gets the money back. And that's generally the cheapest option when it comes to life insurance. It's also super straightforward. Everyone can grasp it. But overall, I would advise that you get this type of life insurance. A few other insurance salesmen might pitch you things like whole life insurance or life insurance with a savings component inside of it. I would advise that you stay away from those unless you know very well that you need this kind of policy for inheritance planning or, tax purposes. But that's really financial engineering. That's the primary value of whole life insurance, at least as I see it. And so if you're looking to provide safety to your family, I would advise term life insurance. That's the only policy that Feather offers. All right, so you know what kind of policy makes sense for most of you, but do you really need term life insurance? Let's go through a few cases. Hopefully it's going to regroup everyone, and that is going to let you know whether or not you want to look into getting life insurance. So first user group, let's call them that. is a single person with no dependents. No one is relying on your income in order to maintain your lifestyle. You don't really have any debt, you haven't bought your home, in which case, your life insurance, I would say, is a bit of a waste of money on your end. If you're not looking to leave an inheritance for someone after your passing, then I don't think it makes sense to look into getting a life insurance policy. Though, if you're single, but you have a mortgage, in which case you might have to have life insurance. It depends. Check with your bank, because banks, when they give you this huge loan, a lot of money for you to purchase a property, they expect you to pay back that loan, right? That's how loans work. But what they want to do is they also want to put some protections in place in case something unfortunate happens to you and you're not able to pay your loan anymore, in which case they might ask you to get life insurance or mortgage insurance so that you can pay off your mortgage after your passing. Check with your bank, might be necessary. Then if you're a couple and you're both working, but you don't have any kids, I would say it only makes sense to get life insurance if you have bought a home together, because you don't want to force your partner to sell the home and to deal with this massive loan in the event of your passing. But if you haven't bought a home, you might want to get a little policy if you really want to leave something for your partner. But generally, if you're both working, your partner should handle life fine if they're missing your income. By handle life fine, I mean, of course, it's going to be terrible and tragic of your passing, but it's possible for them to get back on their feet without necessarily getting a 50K or 100K payout. So I just wanted to clarify that. Then if you're a couple with only one income, then definitely you want to get life insurance for the partner who isn't working, especially if it's been a long time that they haven't been in the workforce. It might be difficult to find a job in the first few months, and in which case a life insurance policy and its payout can really help alleviate the stress that not only comes with dealing with someone's passing, but also getting back into the workforce. Then finally, if you're a family, you have kids, definitely you want to get life insurance. This is the main reason why everybody gets life insurance, is because they want to leave something for their kids. And I think at the end of the day, once you have children, you really want to consider, can I provide for them regardless of what happens to me? And life insurance is definitely one component of the answer. You might think that it's going to take hours for you to get your life insurance policy, but once you have a couple of tricks up your sleeves that I'm going to share right now, it's pretty easy. It takes about 10-15 minutes if you really want to push it. So first of all, how much coverage do you need? You need between 3 and 6 times your annual income. That's the rough rule of thumb for how much life insurance coverage you need. I would advise that you go towards the higher end in case you have kids, and towards your lower end if it's just for, say, a mortgage or maybe protecting your partner's lifestyle. The next component of your contract that you need to figure out is how long it's going to last. And generally, you want to take whatever is the latest date between finishing off the payment of your mortgage or your youngest kid graduating from college. This will ensure that you can pay up for all of your financial responsibilities, regardless of whether or not something happens to you. Either you keep working and you pay off all your debts, or something happens to you and your life insurance policy covers all of the necessary expenses. And then just a couple of things that I want you to know, and I want you to confirm with your life insurance company whether or not it's going to be feather, is first of all, do you need a medical exam for a policy that's worth less than 500K? I would advise that you ask what's in it for me, because most of the time it can only negatively impact your premiums and very rarely improve them. So in case you're getting a policy worth 500K or less and they ask for a medical exam, maybe look at another provider. That's something I would suggest to you. Then the other thing that I want you to double check is whether or not the life insurance contract is flexible. Ask the support team. Can you say shorten the contract? Can you extend the contract? Very rarely. That's not something to be afraid of in case your insurance company says no. Most of the time it's going to be impossible, but can you shorten the contract in case that's something you want to do? Can you adjust the payout amount if that's also something that you want to do? That's a question that you need to be asking your insurance company, and you need to understand whether or not they're flexible with those contract terms. If they're not, maybe look into an alternative. I've left a link down in the description to Feather's life insurance policies. If it makes sense for you, play around with the terms, determine whether or not you want to trust Feather. I mean, we're the best rated insurance company in Germany. I think it means something, especially in times of stress, like when you need to receive a life insurance payout. But in any case, do your research, determine what makes the most sense for you, and I hope to see you on the other side. Ciao, ciao!